Marketplace Magazine featured Dave Habiger as its January 2006 issue as an up-and-coming CEO. Dave, welcome to our program. We're really pleased to have you with us.
Thank you.
Also
Thank you very much.
Very nice to have you back on the good. And I wanted to just ask you just a kind of a general question about your experience at St. Norbert College and some of the things that you took away from the experience here that really have helped you in your career. And maybe the flip side of that, some things that you wish had been part of your undergraduate education that weren't. That might have helped you.
I think it's fair to say that a lot of what I'm doing today started in this room, or at least in this building.
Mm-hmm. In media services.
Media services in particular. Yeah, I had worked with all the audio and video gear here and had a, maybe called a revelation. I really was excited by the tools and the technology, and certainly set me on a course after I left the school.
Yeah, I'm trying to understand, I believe there's an impending war between these formats, these standard formats,
yes,
correct?
Correct.
Blu-ray and, I guess, HD, DVD.
Correct.
Which do you think is going to win out?
Well,
or do you have a projection?
I don't. You know, we've had a tough time predicting that one. It's difficult for us because we're agnostic. We have to support both formats, and
it's expensive.
It's expensive. So we spend twice as much time and energy building these very expensive, elaborate tools that help prepare this content for the studios, and that we sell to the post facilities. And I think the bigger concern is in the market. The consumers are waiting to see, you know, I think confused. Rationally waiting to see which format's going to win.
Yeah, I mean, for those of us who invested in Betamax, you know.
Yeah, that's right. So it's a very similar concern. And so I think ultimately one will win and the other will lose, or the two will combine, and you'll have a single format. That I think is the thing that it's fair to say most of the industry is hoping for, something that.
Well, is this something you think the government should interfere with, or do you think the marketplace should just determine it?
I think the marketplace should determine it.
The company itself is a huge success story, but listed as one of the 14 fastest growing companies of Fortune 500. Did I have it correct?
I think roughly, yeah. Not the Fortune 500. I think
Fortune Magazine.
Fortune Magazine
is the one that was one of the top 14 companies
right.
in the country growing. How would you describe your management philosophy in a kind of maybe in a simplified way?
I think in a simplified way, our company philosophy is certainly that we're always trying to find the best people. I think any good company tries to do that, and you know, we have what we call knowledge workers, right? Software developers. The bulk of our business are people that are creating things that are intangible, and you know,
that's a relatively new concept, the knowledge worker.
It is, and I think every business has some level of knowledge workers, and we are probably on the extreme since it's a lot of software development. But really, you want to attract the best people. I want to have the best, you know, video codec people, the best audio codec people in the planet who really want to come work at our company and find it challenging and rewarding, and like any business, you know, they need to, you want your team and your colleagues to understand why their work's important. What do they do? Mm-hmm. You know, and I'm fortunate. I think it's a lot easier to explain to someone why software that allows me to share photos of my vacation with my grandma who lives in Kansas and my other grandma who lives in Joliet. You know, I can clearly articulate and understand how the things we build make the world a better place. I suspect everyone in any business at some point can say that the cup they make is a better cup, and it makes the world better. But we're very lucky that when we try to hire people, I think they understand why, you know, the value of the thing they're building. And they understand the importance of what they're building and why it's important. Mm-hmm. So.
Stories. Now, one of the questions I have though is that, you know, in this world of you know, taking some risk at the same time trying to protect, you know, what the interests that you have. How did you survive the internet bust, you know, of the late 90s and so on? I mean, it must have affected your company in some ways, because your base was in the industry of the film industry initially. Right. So that was a buffer, I suspect. But still, you were competing for some of the same workers. You were, you know, how did you work that all out?
Well, we saw a lot of companies come and go during that time. Businesses that started and rose very quickly. Some that had been around who made some mistakes and failed quickly. And I suspect the common thread, in hindsight, was that most of them started to believe there was some new business, that you know, products and technology and customers were won very quickly, and didn't have to make money necessarily, didn't have to be profitable, basic core principles in business tend to hold true. I mean, at some point you do have to.
They ignored those. Or
they ignored them, or they believed that they weren't as important. And at the end of the day, your customers matter and your employees matter. During the internet, bubble, there was a less emphasis, I think, on employees, on the, I wouldn't say the product, but people were just part of the process, and sometimes they were there for a year or two, and then they were gone.
Moved on to something.
Moved on, and so we were fortunate that we kind of stayed true to worrying about the customers, worrying about our business, focusing on building and running a profitable operation. And we didn't grow a whole lot during that period. I mean, we've kind of had to keep our heads low, and we chugged along and saw a lot of people for several years.
So you began to build from '93 to about 2000?
Yeah, I mean, there's from the '90s through now. I mean, there's years of rapid growth, and then there's years of flatness. I don't think we've ever really declined, but we certainly had good years and bad years, like all businesses, and some are better than others. And I guess when you take the trend line, it looks good, right? I mean, we've been a very successful company. We've grown a lot, and if you measure months and weeks and years, sometimes you can find areas that don't have so much growth. I suspect that has a lot to do with our business. We're in constantly in technology, where things are produced, ideas are created, products are brought to market, and then there is, new products, and you suddenly have a great product and it slowly fades, or competitors come in. If we were building cups or chairs, I suspect we wouldn't see that same rapid growth followed by
more steady state. Yeah, that particular. One of the questions.
There's a little more than that.
What keeps you awake at night with all those people you're responsible for?
Oh boy, you didn't tell me that question was on there.
I mean, certain things must bother you.
Yeah, sure. You always. I think that as we've gotten larger, I certainly feel more of an obligation, and again, like anyone who's leading a team or managing people, has feels obligated to make sure that they're making the right decisions for the company and the entity. And there's 5-6 decisions a day where hopefully you're making more good ones than bad ones. So now that being said, not a lot keeps me up at night. I know what I'm doing. I know that I'm working hard. I know I'm the right guy to do what I'm doing. I feel good about the products I build, and I put my head on the pillow at night and I sleep quite well. Now, metaphorically speaking, I do. Usually when I'm on my morning run is when the wheels are spinning on. Okay, was that the right decision? Should we have done this somehow differently? And those are day-to-day decisions.
But you have no problem going back and correcting something where you made a mistake.
No, I make a lot of them. Yeah,
we correct it, get on with it.
Yeah, and look, in my experience is that you recognize where you've got your weaknesses and where it's not your skill set, and you surround yourself with people that are good at things you're not good at, and put other way, I think I've said in my presentation, people that are smarter than you. I mean, I've been fortunate to have people that are extremely brilliant, sharp people around me, guiding me and helping me as I've
not be afraid
grown.
of that, but rather be challenged by that.
Yeah, and learn from. I think that's what most people do who are doing well with their life, with their life and their business.
Is to have people who will challenge you and push you further and push the company further.
Yeah,
better products. Well, I certainly want to thank our special guest, Mr. Dave Habiger, for sharing his expertise and insights with us this evening. So please join us for future programs as we continue our exploration of the world of ideas. Until then, I'm Michael Marsden for Conversations from St. Norbert College.